police salary. Then turn them over to the Ku Klux Klan murder squad. They are taken to an isolated spot where James Chaney is savagely beat. Chaney was black. Swanson and Goodman was white Jews from Ohio. Chaney is savagely beat. All three are shot to death. In the early morning hours of Monday, June the 22nd, their bodies are buried in an earthen dam on the property of a wealthy landowner. Their car is driven into Boga Cheetah Swamp and set on fire. I want you to know that I passed by that dam many a day. By Tuesday, the story of their disappearance began to appear on national newspapers. Even Lyndon Johnson and the federal government suddenly woke up because of two white men being killed. Someone said that my son was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I want you to know that's false. I consider my son to be like these two white boys. He was in the right place at the right time to uncover some injustice. I knew James Byrd. He was a fun-loving guy. He was a human being who was brutally killed. I liked James Byrd. He started drinking and he started singing. Amen, but he was a likable person. But Alfred was unique in that he was an educated, clean-cut, intelligent, had a job that most people wanted, had a beautiful wife, beautiful boys. And so he was being an access to society and not a liability on society. He was the ideal one to become a model for all of those who've been misused and abused, even in Jasper County, in Newton County, in Polk County, and for sure in Salvine County. Secure in their certainty that the bodies buried beneath the earthen dam can never be found. Mississippi claimed it all a hoax. They say it was a communist plot to stir up sympathy for agitators, and that the missing men were hiding in Mexico. Sound familiar? They said that my boy, it was the characteristics of him being on some illegal drug, and he took off running, getting out of his clothes. And he was running from an indictment. What is an indictment? It's a claim against you that you have not been convicted of. It's a claim against you. And y'all have to understand, Alfred, as he was going to school to prepare himself to be a physical therapist, he was the only black employee at all white bank. The money came up missing and he didn't have a key to the ATM machine. Only managers did. Sound like a scapegoat to me? And so what people don't know, that he had done everything that he's supposed to do. He had made 2 appearances in Memphis and they tried to get him to plea bargain. And he said, I will not plea bargain. I'm going to clear my name. And his court day was set in December. And why would you run in November if you can wait to run in December? I'm just setting the record straight. And this is similarities. They are hiding in Mexico. Those boys, and even the governor of Mississippi said, those boys are in Cuba. But because of this, the number of FBI agents increased in Mississippi from 15 to 150. For the first time, an FBI office was established in the state. Congressman Weber and Representative Deverell had written letters to bring about a change. Thank God for higher authority. Throwing the corpse of murdered blacks into the nearest river was a traditional component of the Southern way of life. Did everybody hear that? In Mississippi, throwing the corpse of murdered blacks into the nearest river is a traditional component of the Southern way of life. So in 1964, and we're talking about Freedom Summer. It's a book out called Freedom Summer. So hundreds of Navy sailors were assigned to search the swamps. Navy divers drug the rivers. Soon, black bodies are being pulled from the water. Among them, Henry Hezekiah, Charles Ed Moore, lynched by Klan after Moore is expelled from Alcorn A&M for participating in a civil rights protest. 14-year-old Herbert Ogilvy is found wearing a core t-shirt in the river. There will remain of 5 other black men never identified because of the Southern way of life. Pastor Lewis, we have kind of found out now that there is a hip heel way of life. Do you all not know that while they were searching for the shuttle astronauts, that they actually found 3 remains in the forest around Hemp Hill? Oh, y'all didn't know that? Oh, yeah. They didn't share that information. I kind of believe the Hemp Hill way of life was styled after the Southern way of life. And my son was just one more that they felt that they could put away in the woods. And them folks are holler and cut up for a few days, like they usually do. And they go on about their own business and forget about their loved one. Oh, but you got the right one this time. You got the right one, baby. You don't think you got the right one? Just remember the last name, W, R, I, G, H, T. And if you don't recognize the name then, if you don't like it, take the W, bury it, throw it in the woods like you did my son, and you still got R, I, G, H, T. Got the right one to extinguish injustice and let justice roll down like a flowing river. After the bodies are recovered, their family asked freedom movement attorneys to ensure that legal required autopsies be done correctly and reported accurately. They asked special doctors to be allowed to inspect the bodies and observe the procedure. I asked for Danny Young to be taken off the case because he had a working relationship with Maddox when they were with DPS. They took him off. They took him off. The night that we found Alfred, they took him off. But do you not know that he took it on his own self to dismiss Texas Ranger Raven, who they sent in from Lufkin, The next day when it came to going with my son's body to the autopsy, Young went. Young put himself back on the case. Do y'all understand what it means to be a Siamese twin? It means to be connected up with somebody. I don't know about you, but that sounds strange to me. If Reverend Lewis is a pastor and I'm going to let him preach, I don't, when he get there, I don't say, preacher, you sit down, I'm going to preach. Something wrong with that. The autopsy results are not released to the public. Sound familiar? But by serious leaks to the press implied that the 3 men were shot, but not tortured or mutilated. The MCHR suspects a cover-up, just like we suspect a cover-up. A very recognized and respected pathologist was asked to inspect the bodies. State officials tried to block the second autopsy, but the family hold firm and prevailed. Sound familiar? The first autopsy done on the FBI and state authority had reported no injury other than fatal gunshots. But, and this is a big but, y'all, but Dr. Spain discovered obvious evidence of horrendous torture. Do anybody remember the second autopsy? Did we press conference the other day? The first autopsy said inconclusive. How can an autopsy be inconclusive? When an autopsy is to tell what they call the death is. He says, I could barely believe the destruction of these frail young bones. In my 25 years as a pathologist and a medical examiner, I have never seen bones so severely shattered, except in a tremendously high-speed auto accident or an airplane crash. It was obvious to any first-year medical student that this boy had been beat to a pulp. That was James Chaney, the black one. On December 4th, the FBI arrested and charged 19 suspects. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I was only 38 miles away. Incidentally demonstrated what everyone had already known, that the FBI does in fact have power to make arrests in civil rights cases. The charges against all of them are dismissed 6 days later. January 15th, some of the first group are arrested. A total of 18 are charged with conspiracy to deny civil rights. But no one is charged with murder. On October 20th, 1967, 7 of the defendants are convicted of federal charges. After exhausting their appeals, the 7 began serving their sentence in March of 1970. None served more than 6 years for lynching these 3 men. Meanwhile, the others murdered who was acquitted or had missed trial go about their lives. So everyone knows who they are and what they did. Rainey continued in office as sheriff until his term ended. And one of the acquitted defenders, E.G. Burnett, is elected in his place. Amen. There are some similarities here. And I want you to know that we will not take down. We will not quit.